I'm Adam.
And I'm Bayley.
And we're here to talk about our feature film project, Nosferasta.
Nosferasta is an ongoing, collaborative, anti-colonial vampire film, co-authored by and based upon the alter ego of our real-life friend, honorary uncle, and neighbor, Oba.
We started working with Oba in 2015 during the production of our first feature film, Empty Metal. In that movie, Oba played a role as a mysterious, trans-historical, telepathic revolutionary. But during filming, he kept insisting that Empty Metal was just a sideshow, and that we needed to wrap it up, because Nosferasta was the real movie. 6 years later, we were on the verge of finally starting that real movie.
So Nosferasta is composed of two forms: a scripted period piece taking place from 1492 to 1992, and then documentary footage set in present-day New York City.
The scripted story follows a young version of Oba portrayed by an actor we've cast. Young Oba is an early survivor of the Middle Passage, and when he arrives in the Caribbean in 1504, he is seduced and bitten by the famed vampire Christopher Columbus, ensuring Oba's undying allegiance to Columbus and his colonial project. In 1506, Oba and Columbus fake their own deaths, freeing themselves from the responsibility to the living world, allowing themselves to operate completely in the shadows.
Oba begins to work undercover as a spy and a saboteur, though outliving generation after generation, infiltrating and destroying anti-colonial movements throughout history. Columbus, meanwhile, establishes proto-deep state networks, sowing the seeds for what would become the doctrine of manifest destiny, guiding North American political ideology towards the vampiric need for exploitation and excess.
By the late 20th century, the theology of Rastafari has also spread. As Oba learns about this new anti-colonial religion, he begins to reflect on the vampiric destruction he has been inflicting for centuries. For the first time, his loyalty to Columbus begins to waver. In 1992, 500 years later, Oba will kill Columbus, forever betraying his allegiance to the vampire order and affirming his commitment to Rastafari. After killing his original biter, Oba, still apparently 30 years old, goes into hiding and begins physically aging for the first time since 1492.
The unscripted component of Nosferasta focuses on Oba's present-day and post-vampire real life.
We've been shooting documentary footage for years which details Oba's real-life struggle with the contemporary settler colonial bureaucracy, his quest for U.S. citizenship, literacy, and without getting too meta, the group of millennial filmmakers who are helping through this process.
We fully acknowledge that our collaboration with Oba is an unusual one. He is as old as both of us combined. He comes from a completely different cultural background, and he has virtually no filmmaking experience. We're constantly asking ourselves, are we making Oba's movie, or are we making a movie about Oba? It's probably both at the same time, but these questions are not in conflict.
We work slowly. We embrace asymmetric collaboration, and most importantly, we make our films step by step, one iteration evolving into the next. This allows us to be dynamic, responding to new ideas and feedback over time, essentially letting the film grow rather than hammering it into existence.
So where we're at now is that in less than a month, we'll start actually shooting Nosferasta's scripted period scenes in Puerto Rico. This footage will also be used in a video installation commissioned by Gasworks in London, which opens this October. After that, we'll continue editing, writing, fundraising, and shooting to complete the feature film by 2023.
At its core, Nosferasta is about pulling back the tangled layers of inexplicable greed and patriarchal lineage that have characterized the colonial project since 1492. We are in search of a generative understanding of how identity and history are owned, disowned, and discussed.
That said, we do feel responsible to accessibility, especially when making a political film. So we want our work to function as a sort of Trojan horse in which we can package radical politics within the familiar forms of a narrative genre film.
Our dream is to prompt audiences to expand their political imagination towards some sort of speculative future or past, which we would all like to inhabit.